Coach Gene Clements here, FCS Radio Nation. I am back with another interview. I am here talking to, for my money, the best wide receiver at the FCS level and possibly one of the best wide receivers in college football, Jalen Coker. Jalen, thank you for joining me, man. It's a pleasure to sit here and talk to you.
No, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
First off, let me start here. You came to Holy Cross from Virginia. There's a lot of FCS schools in between Virginia and Massachusetts. What made you ultimately decide on Holy Cross?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is Coach Ches. I wanted to be a part of what he was building. Coming off their first championship. In high school we didn't win championships, so that was something that I really wanted to do. And then when I got there, the people, the coaching staff, pretty much everyone else there was so welcoming, and education as well, was huge. So I mean, it really was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, and I think that's very interesting to talk about is when you come from a background or from a high school that hasn't seen as much team success. Is that really something that resonates with you? Is that you want to be a part of something just bigger than yourself?
I mean, yeah, I'd say so. I'm not saying that, I didn't enjoy high school because we didn't win. Those are going to be my guys for life that were on that team. But, I just wanted to really feel feel what it felt like to win a championship, to go to the playoffs, to do that extra little bit, to stay in season a little bit longer. I just wanted to do that. But yeah.
Okay. So I really want to get more into a little bit less of the cliche question answers and really just want to have a talk about playing the game as a big body wide receiver. I was a wide receiver. I played around 215, 220 most of my collegiate career, 6'4". What are the advantages and disadvantages that you see from being a bigger bodied receiver when you're out there playing the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely some advantages, like you're saying, just size, you're just bigger than most DBs that you're playing against. You can box them out. You can kind of get away with a little bit here and there because, you're a little bit stronger. Just height. I mean, you can jump. I mean, it's like probably long arms. I feel like everything that a smaller receiver has, you have, but you're just a little bit bigger. So I think it's just it's better. Disadvantages, I mean, go probably a multitude of things. I mean, probably a little bit slower. Footwork probably isn't as good. In and out of breaks is probably a little slower compared to a smaller guy. But I mean, it really depends. If you're in the lab and you're working, you could be 6'4", moving just like a 5'10" guy. So I mean, it really depends on who you are as a player.
I hear you. I think for me, the one disadvantage I always looked at is it's just a lot of me to hit. It's a lot of me to hit, and what I always experienced is a lot of people going low, and I know that the emphasis in football now is to protect the head, but really, like, I would much rather you just hit me in the shoulder head region than to go and take my knee out.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of my experiences. Once I ran one person over because you're 5'8" and I'm me, everything else was just right at the knee, right at the thigh board, right at the ankles. Is that something that you've had to deal with in your time?
Yeah, absolutely. Just that's definitely something that I've worked on, that stiff arm to push them away right when they're diving for the legs. But no, definitely that's something I see a lot.
One thing I've seen a lot of, because people dive at taller guys' legs, is jumping. I've never been a jumper. Like I have really good like explosion, but I've never been somebody looking to jump over people because I just can't get out of my head if I don't get over them. Like clipping that foot, and now all of a sudden I'm like hitting my head, head first into the pavement. Is that something you think about when you're out there moving with the ball in your hand? Because you've got a lot of, it's not just you catching the football, deep or catching hitch routes. You're catching the ball, turning and running. Is that something that you're thinking about, is how I'm going to navigate these defenders while you have the ball in your hands?
Absolutely. I think that's every receiver's thinking about that. For me, I think that's something that I definitely need to get better at. The yards after the catch is definitely something that could take my game to the next level. But in regards to jumping, I've tried a few times, but it's never working out like you see it on the highlight reels or anything like that. I'm jumping late, I'm landing on one leg. I've always wanted to hurdle somebody, but
Everybody does.
it's
Everybody
sketchy though.
does.
It's really
Yeah,
sketchy.
it's sketchy because the outcome, if you really screw up, is bad.
Yeah.
And it's funny, every time I see someone do it, like, I don't feel bad for them. I'm like, yo, you out here jumping crazy. You get what you deserve, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a risk reward that I was never willing to go through. I know you've heard people say, oh, well, Jalen Coker is an NFL prospect, right?
Yeah.
And so, but you also know that comes with the uncertainty of whether other people might think, the decision makers might think of you that way.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't. That's all of our dream when we put the football pads on, right? Is to play at that next level. So how do you manage that? Now it seems as if there is a path to this, but I know I still need to work on things to get better to make that a reality.
I mean, I think you said it, regardless of what anyone else on the outside is saying, it's all going to come from me, so nothing's going to change from my work ethic, from what I do now to what I do in my training at the All-Star games, whatever. Nothing's going to change for me. I'm going to make it so that you can't keep me off the field. Like I have to be on the field, whether that's special teams, offense, any type of way that I can get on the field, I'm going to do my best to do that. So, I mean, I try to, silence a lot of those things going on. All I can really control is what I can control. So, I mean, I'm just going to continue to work hard and, hope that the NFL sees that and, I get drafted and picked up and, everything works out.
Absolutely. What would you say is your calling card? Like, if you had to if I'm a GM and I say, what's the one thing that I know I can rely on, that I'm getting from Jalen Coker every single time he steps foot on the field? What's that? What's your calling card?
I would say a good person and a great athlete. At the end of the day, I feel like my character is something that I value a lot. I got two parents that raised me really, really well. I'm proud to be a Coker. So I'm gonna make sure that I carry that name with respect. And yeah, I mean, I feel like a good person and someone who's all ready to compete
on the field. What's your skill set that you think sets you apart from the other receivers that are out there, or that you think is on par with the best that's doing it right now in college football?
Okay, yeah, my ability to catch the football.
So hands, it's just you can catch everything.
Yes.
And I don't think that's minimizing it, because we've seen out here in these streets, there are a lot of super athletes that are hanging around that don't really catch the ball well. Guys who struggle to catch the ball naturally, I would say. Is that something that you've always had? Have you always just had that natural ability to catch the ball? Because it never looks like you're fighting the ball. It always looks like it's pretty natural for you.
Yeah, I say it's always been pretty natural. I mean, yeah, it has been.
Cool. So now we're into the offseason. Unfortunately, you guys didn't make the FCS playoffs. I thought it was a snub. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that when you challenge yourself as a program and you play multiple, FBS teams, and not just, a group of 5 team, but also a Power 5 team, I think that there should be something given to the fact that you took, Boston College to the wire and probably should have won that game. I think it's something to be said about playing tough versus military academies, which are always difficult to prepare for on a single week basis. How do you feel about you guys not being a representative in the playoffs this year?
It's tough. I know all of us were expecting to get that bid to go. We saw Fordham do it last year, so we were really expecting that we were going to be the other Patriot League school to get in. But I really feel for the seniors. Some of that game was going to be their last game playing football ever, or playing football in a Holy Cross uniform. So I mean, I really feel for them, and it's sad, but you know, there's really nothing we can do about it now. It is what it is. But I know that everyone here knows that we could compete and definitely win a lot of games.
Yeah, and that's to me, that's really the unfortunate part about the way in which this thing goes down. You've got six Missouri Valley Football Conference teams in there, and you're like, no one's going to convince me that the sixth Missouri Valley football team is better than Holy Cross. I've seen enough football. I know what I'm looking at. Um, that type of thing. I know that when it came to the decision to move on from Holy Cross, it's not a decision that you're making because you necessarily want to, but like just the way in which schools work, you kind of have to make another decision. So as you move forward, are you like weighing options? Have you thought about the possibility of jumping immediately to um to the professional ranks? Are you set on another year of college football? What's the plan looking like for you going forward?
Yeah, no. So the NFL has always been my goal. It's been my dream since I was a young kid. I mean, I've definitely thought about coming back for a fifth year playing somewhere, but it's like it's just a risk that I'm just not sure what that holds for me. I don't know the coaches, I don't know the offense, I don't know the quarterback. It's a bigger risk for me, I think. So uh, you know, I'm doing well right now. Like you said, draft prospect, whatever. Like so, might as well just give it my best shot now and just work as hard as I can. And I feel like I'm ready.
And with that being said, like if I was to tell you, like, because I'm with you, I think you know, anytime you have an opportunity to chase the dream, you should chase the dream. But if I was to tell you that there was a school that was saying, "Hey, listen, Jalen, I know your plan is to go professional, but if I could bring in you and your main man Sluka together, would that be something that would be interested to have you two go and team up somewhere else and make one more run at it? Or is that just something that is altogether dead because of, like you said, the variables that you can't, the unknowns that are out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be interesting. Like that's a great thing to think about. Like I'd probably have a great time playing a big time school with Sloop, but I would have to decline because it's just like you were saying. I mean, it's just a risk. I'm just not sure about injuries, anything like that. So I mean, I'd rather I'm healthy, so just take the opportunity while I have it, I think.
So with that, what's the next step for you? Are you working out somewhere? Are you trying to head back once school is out? Are you going back to Virginia? Are you going to work out there? Do you have plans of going to some of the other like workout hotbeds, down in South Florida, maybe out to California? What's next as far as what you're planning to do and how you're planning to attack this next goal of yours?
Yeah, so I mean, right now I'm up in the gym still working out, doing like a little like pro day type of workout thing that I'm doing every other day. And then after school's out, like you said, I'm about to be going down to South Florida, working out there, and then just continue to train. Going to do the All Star game, the Hula Bowl. Not sure exactly the date, but I think January 13th ish. And then after that, continue to work out, and then just get ready for my pro day and then the draft.
And so you're going to Like it's going to be you working out, getting ready, attack the All-Star game circuit, possibly even get an invite up to maybe one of those bigger, um, more nationally. I shouldn't say more nationally because they're all really good, but just one of those ones that you see that are established as kind of like those entry level All-Star games, and then kind of let the chips fall where they may from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you thought about if for some reason it's not the NFL? Are you thinking about I'm going to be football vocational? I'm going to be around football in some capacity? Would it be whether it might be Canada or the XFL USFL merger that's going on right now? Do you have plans on if I'm not playing, am I going to still be involved in football? Like, what's that if it's not the NFL, this is what it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I haven't really had much thought into if it's not the NFL because I've always thought it was going to be the NFL. But I mean, if I have the ability to play in the XFL, CFL, anything like that, I have no problem doing that at all. I don't know like what the ramifications are for that or how that process works, but I mean, if I have that opportunity, I'd obviously love to play professional football in some capacity. So that's been my dream. So but if let's say football doesn't work out, if I have the degree, so get a nice job somewhere, make a lot of money. That's the plan.
I hear you, and I know that a lot of people will say, "Hey, don't have a plan B because it makes it easier for your plan A to go down." And um, but I will say that I think, and this is just advice from me, seeing others do it. Um, if you get the opportunity, obviously you want to take it. But if it comes down to, hey, I'm just kicking around waiting for, an NFL invite or NFL, or I have an opportunity to legitimately play in like an XFL, USFL. I don't know what they're going to do with the merger and all that, but you never go wrong with getting film, right? And we've
Yeah.
seen people be able to take that film and produce it and then backdoor themselves into an NFL opportunity. I think that you're a Sunday player. I think that you have a lot of skills that transfer seamlessly to the next level. Specifically the hands, your body placement, I think is great. I would agree that I think the one area that you're going to have to improve on is your ability to get in and out of breaks. I think that's really the difference at the NFL level because those defensive backs are so fast, they're so agile, they react so quickly. Is that you're breaking out of a slow break on a slant route is a pick six, a slow
Yeah.
break on you know what I'm saying? So it's like I think those are the ways that the area that's the final frontier for you, if you would. If I was your coach and you were coming back for another season, that's where I would focus the off season on. I'm sure that when you get with your advisors and the people who care for you, they're gonna point you in that direction as well. I really look forward to watching your process outside. And congratulations on a fantastic career. Holy Cross, all time, everything. You know, it's great. Like when you think about that, like it's going to be hard for someone to just come in and do what you've done, right? Um, your name couldn't be there for years upon years to come. Is that something that's exciting to know that you've left that level of legacy out there?
I mean, yeah, I think it is exciting, but I don't really think about it like that. It feels good to leave the like all the records, but I'm expecting them to get broken. So I don't want to say like it hasn't like sunk in yet, I guess maybe, but probably looking back when I'm like 40, I'll probably be like, that's pretty cool. But right now, I'm trying to keep a very level head about it and just kind of continue to move forward, I guess you could say.
Yeah, always humble, always humble. I appreciate it. Anything that you're going to really miss about Holy Cross, just outside of football, just being in that area and the relationships and the fun that you've had.
I mean, I feel like you said outside of football, but I mean, I feel like the most thing I'm gonna miss is my teammates. You know, like not even with football, but just hanging out with them outside of it, like you're saying. You know, whether we go out or we're going to play basketball or something like that. You know, that's what I'm gonna miss the most. So, uh,
Is the basketball are the basketball games like really like hella competitive? Because I know the all
of
football
course,
players
you
think
know it
they're
is.
basketball players.
No, absolutely. You know it is absolutely without a doubt.
Do you have an intramural team?
We do have an intramural team. We'll play them occasionally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's up. I've always liked when we had our football intramural team, and then we would play against the basketball team, and it would just be a slaughter. Like, and they, it would, and the basketball team would just be like, "Yo, what? I don't understand." When I went to Arkansas Tech, that was one of my favorite things to do is just get the football players, go to the gym on the open gym, catch the basketball players there, and then work them over. Like
Yeah.
it,
Absolutely.
I played football and basketball at Fitchburg State, and so when I transferred, I tried to play football and basketball at Arkansas Tech, and the basketball coach told me I had to cut my hair. He said we have to be clean shaven on this team, and all this other ridiculousness. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not playing
Yeah.
basketball then.
Nope.
And so every time I got the opportunity to then play them in basketball, I would just murder them. And I
Yeah.
know
Well,
the
so you
coach
had
was somewhere
that
watching.
much more, just that little bit.
Oh, for sure. It
Yeah.
was always blood on the court. It
Yeah.
was always blood on the court for sure. Hey, Jalen, I really do appreciate your time, man. Good luck with everything. Congratulations on a fantastic career, and we look forward to seeing you down the road.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me again.
Actually, I'll see you. Are you coming? Are you coming to the to Frisco for the awards?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. I hope you're there. And
Yeah.
if you are there, we'll link up. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you again.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.